Hey Jonesy Babes and Anonymous Jonesy Babes, welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to talk about Wade Wilson, and this time we're going to talk about the Spencer hearing. I'm not going to be too long with that. I just want to talk about some things and some other stuff, because I was on Twitter as well, looking at some posts, and also listening to the trial on Law and Crime Network. Okay. So it's doctor against doctor, honey. Dr. Rubino versus Dr. Coyne. Dr. Coyne came prepared. Dr. Rubino seems like he was kind of, how can I say this? He was telling you what was wrong, but it was a lot of assumptions. He didn't have anything to, he didn't have any reports about Wade Wilson's, medical records or, the car accident and his head trauma. He didn't have any of his medical reports. So I thought that when you are studying someone's brain or giving them tests, you have to look through their medical records to see what the medical records were saying, and then you can make, do your test as well, but I guess not. So Dr. Rubino reports that Wade Wilson experiences cognitive and emotional dysfunction, acting impulsively and without consideration. He exhibits reduced thinking ability and is less likely to adjust to his behavior. Now, the findings atrophy to the frontal lobe. Well, Dr. Coyne had a different outlook on this. Now, he did say that when Dr. Rubino asked Wade to draw a cube, he drew a square. He asked him to draw a clock. He drew, the clock with numbers on it. It was no number 12 on it. It had X's and stuff like that. He said that Wade was very acting paranoid and upset when the police, when the officers was there. I think that was kind of like a little, he was acting in that moment, because why are you paranoid around the officers? You're around them all of the time. They transport you here and there, but when you go to the neurologist, now you're paranoid and everything when the officers are there in the room with you. So he said that what was happening and stuff like that. So I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Let me know in the comment section. So Dr. Coyne examined Wade's brain and found no atrophy. Okay, and it was contradicting to Dr. Rubino's findings. So yeah, that doesn't look too good. Dr. Coyne suggests Wade may have suffered from hypoxia, if I'm pronouncing that right, due to drug use rather than brain trauma. The brain scans do not align with typical head trauma findings. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. Now, on Twitter, there was someone named Erin Keller, and she's in the courtroom, and she said that Mila was there, Melissa Montanez was there, and that at the end, like towards the end of the hearing, she gave somebody a hug and then she left. But she didn't speak, at the hearing. But she was there. She was there. So I guess she wanted to come in and, and hear what was going on. But I do think that Dr. Coyne, he was on his stuff. He spoke very well, and every question that was thrown at him, he didn't have to assume he knew, and he gave the best answers. You know what I'm saying? So it was tweeted, Melissa Montanez hugs her friend before leaving the Spencer hearing, but she is expected to return later this afternoon. So I guess she's going to come back for the sentencing. Okay. There were some friends there, and they were standing together. Dawn Rugers, which is the friend, is also friends with Sabrina. Sabrina didn't want to be photographed, but Dawn, she wore purple in court to raise awareness of domestic violence and support the survivors. So you will see her picture with my commentary. Now, Wade Wilson parents, they made a plea. They sent the letter in, okay? They said the system had failed Wade Wilson. They said we still love him. You know, some people didn't like the letter that was read in court, you know, because I can tell by certain things on the internet people were saying, especially when they said that the system failed Wade. So how do you guys feel about that? Yeah, so I don't know. What do you guys think about the letter that his parents wrote?
Judge, this is a letter from the adoptive parents of Mr. Wilson. It's been 5 years since the worst of this began. You can't possibly understand how sorry we are for the families affected by this tragedy. We cannot change the past, but we wish we could. On that fateful day 5 years ago, not only were the lives and the dreams of 2 women lost, with their families left behind in shock and grief, but another family was left shocked and grieved over a different kind of loss. It's easy to recognize the victims and their families and to feel profound sympathy for all they suffered and lost. But one group that isn't often recognized as those also suffering is the family of the accused. Our journey of loss didn't happen all in one day as theirs did, but it was heartbreaking nonetheless. Wade was a joyful child, loved his parents and sisters, and was loved immensely in return. But over the teen years, and then especially in the early years of adulthood, Wade began to slip away from us, becoming withdrawn, erratic, and depressed at first. Then as addiction was added to mental illness, he became frankly paranoid and delusional, and the sense of loss became increasingly sharp. He was in the system for years trying to get help for his mental anguish and for his addiction. They put a tiny Band-Aid on it and then sent him back into the world without a diagnosis, medication, and without follow-up care. We tried to hold the pieces together, but had no idea how to find the support Wade needed to be the person he was inside. The system failed him, and that fateful day in 2019, we lost the last piece of the son we loved and all the hopes for his future. In those tragic moments, when the cancer of severe mental illness and addiction won, we lost our son, grandson, brother, nephew, and uncle. So we understand the despair, anguish, loss, and hatred for someone or something that takes away someone you love. Because despite everything, Wade is still our son, and we love him. The hopes and dreams of his life are already lost, but the human is still in there somewhere, tortured beyond what most of us can even begin to imagine. Taking his life will not bring back those 2 beautiful women. There is no justice on earth for that kind of loss. Taking another life only adds to the tragedy. Please see it in your heart not to kill our son and make our innocent family suffer even more. The system designed to help those who suffer and are lost failed him. That system is broken, and it would be only further broken if it took Wade's last breath. That broken system owes Christine, and it owes Diane, and it owes their families, and it owes our family. It owes us all the peace that it did not provide to Wade. Candy and Steve Wilson.
So that was the letter that Candy and Stephen Wilson sent in about Wade Wilson. So I would really like to know your thoughts about that. When Wade was sitting there in that chair, I noticed he was doing a lot of toe tapping and, moving his feet around. He was just looking around. But what I noticed that Wade is not even there. His body is there, but Wade isn't there. It's like, I don't know. He has no emotion. There's nothing going on. It's like there's no lights home or something like that. Like nobody turned the lights on. It's just dark. It's just, if I'm making any sense to you guys, you understand what I'm saying? He was just sitting there with no emotion, no nothing, just sitting there. And you're about to find out what's going on with your life. Like he was just sitting there. The only time he spoke is when he told, you know, the judge that he didn't want to speak at that moment, maybe later. So I guess maybe during the sentencing he might say something. We have to wait and see. But what could he really say, though? I don't know. But anyway, I just wanted to come in and talk about, you know, that little bit of stuff and to get you guys' opinion about it. Let me know in the comment section. And I will say this. When I was looking in the comment section on the live stream of Law Crime and Network, oh my God, it was so many people there supporting him. All you saw was blue hearts, blue hearts, blue hearts, blue hearts. And I'm like, wow, these people are really supporting him, knowing what he did. It's absolutely insane. But anyway, we have like a 30 more minutes before the part 2 starts. So I'm going to go ahead and get this uploaded, and I'll talk to you guys later.